guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you about what is going to be going in the super simple budget aquarium. Now for those of you who saw the last episode, you remember we took the 3 Oranda out of the super simple budget aquarium and put them into the Oranda mega tank. And there was a specific reason for that which I didn't highlight in last video. Now I said previously this would be a great quarantine tank or a great hospital tank, and unfortunately it's not a new fish entering the tank, but unfortunately it's actually going to be used as a hospital tank. Now Aurora, the Kirin Oranda in the Goldfish Mega Tank, has been looking quite sad and sort of upset over the past week, and I feel like it's time to intervene. She's not getting any better. Her eyes have bubbled up a little bit. She's got a bit of pop eye, so it looks like there's a bacterial problem going on with her, and I want to try my best to save her. Now there is obviously a high chance or a strong chance that she may not make it, but I feel like I want to try my best to give her the best chance possible in recovery. So that's why I took these fish out of this tank in the last video. I've only just taken them out about 30 minutes ago, and Aurora is actually going to be in this tank, and I'm going to be treating her individually. Now I'm not going to be treating her with the other fish because her symptoms are specific to her. There is something that's not affecting the other fish, and it is something that is not going to infect or affect the other fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place her into this tank. I'm going to slowly bring the temperature of this tank up to match the Goldfish Mega Tank. Now this one's sitting about 21.5 degrees and the Goldfish Mega Tank is just over 22 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a heater in this tank, and I'm actually going to bring the temperature rate all the way up to 25-26 degrees because that is the best temperature to get her back on track and give her immune system the best chance it can as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a heater into this tank, get the temperature up a little bit, and then we can acclimate her from the Goldfish Mega Tank into the super simple budget aquarium and try and save her and see if we can fix her problems.
A few moments later.
So now I've just put the heater in the tank, and the tank is going to slowly warm up to the desired temperature. Let's head over to the Goldfish Mega Tank and take a look at Aurora and talk about her symptoms in a little bit more detail. So you probably can't see, but I will put a video on the screen, but Aurora is just sitting down in the corner of the Goldfish Mega Tank. Now, her symptoms are she's not swimming at all above the bottom of the tank. If she swims, she's swimming along the bottom, which indicates a swim bladder issue. Now, she also has slightly puffy eyes as well, which you'll see on the video, which is indicating to me that there is a bacterial problem going on. She's retaining fluid within her system, which could probably and will likely lead to dropsy without any intervention, where essentially fluid from or water from the goldfish tank fills up in her system, and she has liver and kidney failure where the water cannot be pumped out of her body and she eventually swells up and fills with water. So I can see that she's obviously trying to remove the water from her system as she hasn't got dropsy quite yet, but that fluid is building up around the eyes, which is probably the most flexible part of her, which is why we can see those symptoms. Now she's breathing, I would say, relatively heavily as well, so she's definitely not in a comfortable situation. So what I'm going to do now, before I acclimate her to the tank, is I'm actually going to give her a methylene blue bath. Now methylene blue is an antibacterial product, and it is very, very effective at reducing bacterial numbers, and I've used it many times in the past. Now I'm not going to put it into the super simple budget aquarium because it would absolutely nuke the filter, kill the filter, leading to water quality issues, which would then cause her to suffer and probably die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 15-minute methylene blue bath. Then I will acclimate her to the super simple budget aquarium, and then we're going to talk about what treatment method and what I'm going to do to try and get her to get better. Let's get her out of the Goldfish Mega Tank and into the methylene blue bath treatment, and then we can add her to the super simple budget aquarium. So as you can see, this is the King British methylene blue that I'm using, and I have some gloves on now. I don't normally wear gloves, but this stuff gets absolutely everywhere and it stains like crazy. So I would always advise using gloves if you're using methylene blue. As you can see, the box and the bottle is covered in it from using it in the past. Now, I am using the standard dose rate, which I believe is 1.5 ml per 10 litres of water. So I think that's right from memory. So I'm using 1.5 ml in this bucket. The bucket holds about 20 litres of water, and I'm just filled it up halfway, and I'm going to leave her in this solution for around 15 minutes or so, which should help her and give her a little bit more oxygen in her blood as well. So Aurora has now been in the methylene blue bath for 15 minutes. And so now I'm going to add her to the tank. Now the heater has been on, the tank is now at the same temperature as the Goldfish Mega Tank, so she won't need any acclimation, so to say. I'm not going to float her in the tank, the temperatures are the same, so there's literally no point. I've done a water change on this aquarium earlier today as well, so nice fresh water, which you would have seen me do that water change in the previous video when I moved the 3 around her into the Goldfish Mega Tank. So I'm going to move her into there now. Hopefully I don't get any methylene blue anywhere, because this stuff stains like crazy. You saw me with the gloves on when I was putting it into the bucket, and it just gets absolutely everywhere. I have to be so careful with it. So I add her to the tank, and then I can talk a little bit more about what treatments I'm going to be using on her to try and get her back to full health, fingers crossed. So let's move her into her new home now and see how she does. So as you can see, Aurora is now next to me in the super simple budget aquarium. Unfortunately, obviously, she decided to splash as I put her into the water, so now I have a few blue spots on my wall. Great. But she is in the tank and she's looking okay, so it's nice. I can see her really up close now. Obviously with the Goldfish Mega Tank, it is quite a big volume of water. The tank is slowly going to warm up to 25 degrees, and now it's time for me to say which treatments I'm going to use to try and cure her. So really looking at her, I've narrowed it down that it is some kind of bacterial infection or an internal problem. It is definitely not parasitic, and it is definitely not water quality related. So what I'm going to be doing is using an antibacterial treatment combined with salt and heat to try and bump up her immune system, get rid of that nasty bacterial infection to try and get her back to full health, where she can then go back into the Goldfish Mega Tank, and then the 3 around us can come back to their normal home. But we'll have to see if she makes it or not. So first thing I would use is salt. Now unfortunately, typically I haven't got any salt. I was thinking of using some table salt. This is sea salt, as you can see here. I probably would have to use at least this full thing, but it has anti-caking agents in it, and I'm not going to risk using that with my goldfish. So this is out of the question, and I'm going to go and pick up some more salt tomorrow. I normally use the PVD or PDV salt, as you can see a picture just here. 25 kilos, and it's like 15 quid, lasts absolute ages. Unfortunately, I've just finished my last bag, or I finished it this year, so I need to pick up another one, and then we can get the salt in there. Now I would bring the salt up to 0.6, which is 6 grams per litre. This is a 110 litre aquarium if it was full to the brim. So let's say it's probably 100 litres, 6 grams per litre. I need 600 grams of salt to go into this, which is nearly double that. And people say that is a crazy amount of salt, but if you're putting a little bit of aquarium salt in, it's not going to make any difference. At 0.6, this is really going to help balance the osmoregulation. The salt that I'm going to add will actually help relieve her, relax her a little bit. Now I could add some magnesium salts, which I have here. So this is actually Epsom salt. Hopefully you can see the bag, and it's pure Epsom salt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this in the meantime. Normally I don't like using this as an immersion treatment. I rather use this in a bath scenario, but she's not looking too good, and I don't want to risk her going downhill any further. I'm going to try what I can. So I'm going to add some Epsom salts. I need to look up the dosage of this. Probably going to use it like 1 gram per litre, something like that. Then I'll do a big water change tomorrow, get the proper salt in the aquarium. This salt's still good. This will relax her muscles. If there's anything she's consumed, it will allow her to pass that out. And it is a really good muscle relaxant using the Epsom salt. So I'm going to use that. I will put the dosage on the screen right here so you can see the doses I end up using for her. And then finally, let's get to the treatment I'm going to be using. And that is acroflavin or acroflavin, as you can see here. Now this is by NT Labs, and I find this is a really good bacterial product to use. It's not too harmful on the filters like methylene blue or chloramine T, and it really has helped me in the past. Now, I'm going to be using that at the standard dosage rate. It is quite a gentle treatment, so I would definitely hit the dosage level. Sometimes I use a slight bit more, but I would always recommend going off the pack. Now, if I had something like Metroplex or Canaplex from Seachem or Seachem, that would be absolutely great to use and it would really help, but it's very hard to get hold of in this country as I don't think it is sold in the UK. Also, alongside that, I'm going to be doing daily methylene blue baths for 15 to 20 minutes every single day to try and improve her, because methylene blue is a very good bacterial product, as I've mentioned. And that is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. So I'll add the salt now. I'm also going to add the antibacterial treatment. I've got to keep an eye on the water quality. Obviously, there's a large fish in this small volume of water, but I'll keep an eye on the ammonia and the nitrite. I'm going to be doing water changes, I would say every 3 days, topping back up with the treatments to try and get her back into full health. If you've got any suggestions down below, let me know. But I found this is probably the best method to use. Personally, from my experience, heat, salt, and an antibacterial treatment seems to be the most effective, and fingers crossed she will pull through. But that's it for today's video. If you have any comments or queries, let me know down in that comment section. Hopefully we can get Aurora back to full health and get the other 3 Aranda back into the super simple budget aquarium and keep on track with that series. But that's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up and happy fish keeping.